What's up, guys? Today we're going to be diagnosing a no start on the KRZ. I think it's a bad starter. The Haltech is reading a good 12 volts on start, so even when all the accessories are on. So I don't know, I think either the solenoid went bad or just the starter motor just fried itself. I know I've had some problems with the that little Odyssey battery I have in there before. I think it died and then just like ended up shorting out the solenoid, but we'll see. I know they're pretty sensitive to like low voltage and stuff. It's a refurbished Denso. I thought it was good, but I guess not. I'm gonna see if I can get it pulled out the car after double checking it's not the battery, and if it is in fact the starter, we'll try and bench test it and see if it's totally busted. So yeah, let's get to it. I gotta pull the cover off this thing. Something I noticed, I'm like getting a prep, taking all the lines off around the starter to prep pulling it out. That down there, that's all ice. So I was just like, I saw that because I've never had that happen before living here all my life. I've never had anything freeze like that. I've only ever put distilled water in here, so that would do it. I'm gonna get to pulling the starter off. I 100% confirmed it is not the battery. I tried 2 batteries. It's not that. It's just a click, and it sounded like the click was coming from the starter side, not from like the relay side, because the relay side is over here, like the relay lives over there, and it really sounds like the click's coming from down kind of underneath there where the starter's tucked in. So I'm gonna pull it out, we'll bench test it and confirm. If it is, I'm gonna have to decide if I'm gonna order a new like OE one, because those are expensive, or just throw in like advanced auto kind of thing. But I don't drive this car a ton. It's not my daily, so if the starter does crap out on me, it's probably gonna be at home. Yeah, I just wanted to show you all the ice before I get to pulling this out. I'm gonna disconnect the battery, see if we can get that starter out. It's a pain in the ass underneath that intake manifold, but we'll see. All right, y'all. Starters off. 2 things I immediately noticed off the bat. 1 bolt, the bell housing, is digging into the top. That's fine. I don't think that would cause like a grounding issue either, because it's already grounded to the transmission. Second, I guess 3 things I noticed off rip. Second, there's no branding on this, and I totally thought it was Denso refurbished. It might not be. This might be like POS Chinese something. I don't know. But now that I'm looking at it, it looks so sketch. And then third thing, which is wild, the housing is loose. Like if I it's kind of hard to see on camera, but like this, from like this line up is loose. Like these long connecting rods are just not tight. Maybe this is like partially my fault or something, but like I guess I bought it and just threw it on. That was that's not chill. This thing probably fried itself. I have like a little jumping wire to go from switch to 12 volt. I'm gonna hook this up to the battery and see if it spins. I don't think it will. If it does, I'm probably still gonna get a new one, because this one just looks like kind of beat, and the solenoid was not playing well inside. So if it doesn't spin and it clicks, immediate diagnosis. I know the problem. We'll see. I don't think this was real Denso, but now we know. So I'm gonna hook this up real quick, and then next clip will just be me testing it. After testing, I think this thing's junk. I think it's the solenoid. So the motor seemed okay, but the connection was like really spotty on the solenoid. I would have to like pull the wire on and off a few times to get it to even like trigger. So I think this thing just fried, and it is what it is. The mechanics were actually okay. Like it was when it got its connection, it would pop out. It sounded like it really would struggle to start spinning. So I think this thing is just junk. Doesn't surprise me, considering I don't even think it's Denso. So this is probably like some cheap eBay, which I think is where I bought it. I think I bought a refurbished one off eBay. I think this thing's just toast. which probably makes sense because those little like racing batteries, really small ones, if you don't keep them on a trickle, they just lose their charge. Especially like in winter, it's really cold here, so when that voltage drops and you try to start it, it's gonna hurt this because it's not gonna even see 12. I think that's it. I think that starter is just busted. I'll probably just order a new one online and then wait for it to come in, and then whenever that comes in, we'll toss it back in, plug everything back up, give it a crank, see if she starts. All right, what up, guys? So this is me voiceovering because as I'm editing this and watching, I'm just yapping. I'm spare you guys the pain of listening. But basically, what I'm saying here is I don't know the cause of why it was running rough, because I later find out that the fuel pump basically disconnected from the basket. So I'm just like trying to debug rough idle and some misfiring when it's revving, and I'm like chasing bad spark plugs, bad combustion, and all sorts of stuff. So ignore all this. It's the fuel pump. We'll get to that. All right, what up, y'all? We're continuing trying to figure out the low fuel pressure problem on this thing, and I think I found it. Let me catch you guys up. This is the fuel basket on the BRZ. This is a modified return system because stock these are returnless. So this is this is part of a kit that you get with the full-blown return setup that you can buy on their website. What I did is I basically bought, and there's a fitting down in the basket. I bought just the fitting and then this like pipe and this AM system, and I tried to rig that with my current fuel pump in there, which is a DW300. So I think what happened is, because the way the full-blown thing works, and I'll show this as I take this out, there's like a right angle fitting that like this return line basically connects to, and there's a venturi system down in the bottom to siphon fuel back through. It sits lower than the pump, and the pump was not touching the bottom of the basket. So I think what happened is the pump just kind of like, when it was pressurizing, it just pushed itself off the feed, and that was the cause of low fuel pressure, and then it was just like leaking into the basket. So I'm going to disassemble this and we'll get to the bottom of that, but I'm like 99% sure that's the problem. And there's an easy solution to this. I just have to buy it. So we'll see what's up. I'll disassemble and then I'll get back to you guys. All right. We definitely confirmed the problem. So as I was pulling this out, fuel pump just fell out. It is not supposed to do that. It's supposed to be firmly pressed up in there and seated. So that's cool. That was definitely the cause of the low fuel pressure. It was just spraying back into the pump. Here's what I was talking about. Here's the basket, and here's this piece, this full-blown piece. So the way this works, this is the return line. So back from the motor after it flows across the fuel injectors, goes up through here and siphons from this line, which is basically, this connects to the other side of the tank. That pulls fuel out of the tank, so you'll never get into like a starvation. Like, you need that suction, otherwise the other half of the tank will never get anything, because it's basically like, it's like a horseshoe. So you have a big reservoir here, a little tiny piece where lines go, and then another big reservoir on the other side. Basically, the fix for this is to not use this housing. So the reason this is broken is because right now the pump sits up here and this sits lower, and the way this basket is supposed to work is the pump is basically supposed to be pressed up against the bottom of the basket where the sock is, and that wasn't happening. So there was nothing kind of like holding the pump in. Obviously when it pressurizes, it just shoots itself off and then everything breaks. The solution is to just sell that pump, go with the 485 with the bracket, and it will fix itself because the pump will actually be on the bottom of the basket. I don't remember if you use the bottom part of the basket or you just put it in the tank. Either way, it's stable and the pump won't shoot out, and I won't leak fuel back into the pump, retain pressure, etc., etc. Shouldn't run terrible anymore. The more I was figuring out what was going wrong, the more I realized the misfires are probably because it was only getting like 15 to 20 psi of fuel. So even though it was like idling okay, and not really, it wasn't even enough fuel pressure to idle. It went, as soon as I revved it, it was just like popping, and it was just a disaster and smoking. So combustion wasn't really happening, and there was not enough fuel to let it rev. It just got super lean super fast. So I think this is the problem. We'll fix this. This makes sense because I did the fuel return while it was down, and I was waiting for the starter to come back in. I guess this just wasn't enough. I thought I could rig it enough where it was like good, but it's not going to work. So I'll order that piece, and then we have to fix the 12 volt power to the flex fuel, and I'll wire the boost controller, and then it should be good for dyno day. We'll tackle that, get it all back up and running. But starter works, it cranks, it started, just runs like crap. So I guess we'll call this episode half a success. But yeah, thanks you guys for watching. Drop a comment if you want to see anything specific on this car. But yeah, just gonna keep working, and then hopefully we'll get to race it, drive it, and enjoy it. See you guys.